If you've ever watched Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy, you may remember the scene in which he read off of a teleprompter and he said the wrong thing.
Ron Burgundy will read anything that is put on that teleprompter. And when I say anything, I mean nah.
From the entire Channel 4 news team, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Go yourself, San Diego.
In a behavioral analytic way of explaining it, Veronica Corningstone got Ron Burgundy to emit her desired target response. Admittedly, this is kind of a weird example, but the reason why this is important is in the word teleprompter. Yes, Veronica Corningstone prompted Ron Burgundy to insult the entire city of San Diego. And prompting is what we're going to be talking about in this video. So what is prompting? Simply put, a prompt is any type of cue to help encourage the intended response. And this strategy is employed to show our learners how to complete the intended behavior that you're targeting in a session, as well as when and who that behavior should be directed at. For example, if you're trying to increase the instances of a learner asking for something, you may start with having them echo the correct response. After they echo the right request, then they can receive the item. Prompts are important in teaching and training because it helps to lower frustration, increases how often your learner will respond, and helps them learn more efficiently. Previous research from a study done in 2008 details how helpful prompting is in teaching complex tasks. As you can see at the start of each of these graphs, the learners do not know any of the steps of this task. You can see that over time and through varying prompt levels, they learned more steps independently to the point that they were able to do everything by themselves. The researchers involved in the study also stated that the learners benefited from these prompt hierarchies in terms of reducing problem behavior during work tasks as well. So we've talked about what is prompting and why, but what about how to do it? Usually prompts are organized in a way that moves us through a specific order, also known as a hierarchy of prompts. This pyramid visual here of the prompt hierarchy helps illustrate how we move through this and what all of these prompts look like. So as you can see, depending on where you start, you can start most to least, which is as intrusive as possible, or least to most, which is as laid back as possible. Your BCBA, in general, will instruct you on which prompts to use for your learners, because there is no right or wrong way to prompt. It will all be specific to each learner. But for the sake of teaching these prompts, we'll go most to least for this video. Now, for these first 4 prompts in our hierarchy, we'll see every prompt demonstrated with the instruction clap hands. For these last 2 up here, they will be modeled with different instructions. Let's start out with our first and most intrusive prompt, which is full physical. Clap hands. This prompt is the most intrusive and involves full hand-over-hand completion to show the learner how to do the task. The instructor held both hands of the learner and brought them together as soon as the instruction clap hands was delivered. Our next prompt in this hierarchy is partial physical. Hands. As you can see, this is the progression of only partially prompting the learner to clap, as the instructor only lifted the hands of the learner up to clapping height. Modeling is the next prompt in this hierarchy. Clap hands. As soon as the instruction to clap hands was given, the instructor modeled clapping. The learner then copied the instructor. The next prompt is gestural, and in the case of a clap hands target like this, it would be the least intrusive prompt in this hierarchy right before independence. Clap hands. The only prompt or cue that was given was pointing to the hands, and the learner responded with clapping. Our next prompt is a verbal prompt, and this is useful for instructions in which you want your learner to respond vocally. My name is Elisa.
My name is Elisa.
Nice job. In this video, it's kind of like modeling in that the instructor modeled the correct response. After the instruction, "What is your name?" the instructor modeled the correct response and the learner repeated it. Next, we have a visual prompt. It will be modeled by using the second step of Hanley's My Way approach, which you may see in your learner's session sheets. All right, time to get to work.
My way.
Not this time.
That's cool.
As you can see, the instructor is teaching the learner to respond, "That's cool," after being told that they can't have their way. The prompt is represented by a card with an ice cube to denote. That's cool. So we've seen examples of what the prompts look like, but in real time, what would it look like to do all of this? Let's see how it looks to move through each prompt until the learner can clap hands independently. All right, ready? Clap hands. Yeah, that's clapping hands. All right, clap hands. Nice, all right, clap hands. Right, clap hands. Nice job. And clap hands. Nice job, you get to play with the food. As you can see, the instructor moved through all of the prompts in quick succession until the learner was able to clap independently, at which point they earned their favorite toy, which was a bin of play food. Now, depending on your BCBA and your learner, it may be useful to include distractor trials in between each prompt, but that is a story for another training video. Hopefully this video was informative for training you on the prompt hierarchy, and if you have any further questions specific to the learner on your own cases, it should still be best to ask your BCBA. Thanks for watching.